There you go.
All right, well, let's get started, guys. So first up, let's do a roll call. Go ahead and say your name, title, company, and we'll start with you, Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike Whiston. I am the CEO and founder of Mo Media. Has nothing to do with HR, but I like all you people, so here I am.
All right, Robert.
Hey, I'm Rob Graber. I'm the CEO of WallStreetJobs.com.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gordon. I'm in Glasgow in Scotland, and I am co-founder and CEO at Candidate ID.
Todd, number one.
Since I'm the first one to join, I'll the first Todd to join. Okay. Todd Goldstein, EVP of Talent Inc., which is the home to Top Resume and Top CV. And I run our partnership and business development business, and been around here for a while. Been in the business for a while.
All right. Michelle, who are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Where are you calling from? All right, we'll skip her and go to Todd Raphael.
I'm Todd. I work with a company called Eightfold, and it's an AI platform for mostly large companies to use throughout the whole life cycle of an employee.
All right. Steve Davis, unmute yourself there.
Hi, Steve Davis, talent acquisition leader, currently in between things, but consulting to two startups.
All right. Sharad.
Hey, hi, this is Sharath. I have 11 years experience into talent acquisition, currently not working and looking out for a better prospect. So that is how. Okay. I am from India.
India, okay. And last but not least, Ranjit. You want to say hello?
Hey guys, this is Ranjit. I am a CEO and president for the RecTech Group LLC, based out of Virginia, staffing. So thank you guys. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining everyone. So I got some topics in the chat there if you want to check out the links. So first up, I found this cool tool I thought I'd mention today. It's called Job Title Tracker. You get real-time notifications when your contacts change jobs. And it starts at $25 a month. I was checking it out. Here are some of the use cases on their site. They say that was interesting. Generate sales opportunities. You can clean your data. Fight customer churn. Be alerted when your customer leaves the company. And remove old email addresses and lower your email bounce rates automatically. First thing I saw when I saw this, like, doesn't LinkedIn have this data already? Why aren't they telling us this stuff in a more formalized fashion here? But what do you guys think of this tool? It's kind of cool.
Hey, Chris, did you say you threw a couple links into the?
Yeah,
it's in the chat there. Yep.
I don't see it in the chat.
Yeah, I don't think.
Did you send it? Did you send it to a person and not to everyone?
No, it's to everyone. It's in there.
It's probably
Did you push
not
enter?
there if we join later, right?
Oh, let me do it again. Really? If it doesn't stay there for everybody?
We don't see it.
It's like Snapchat. It's only
there you go.
seconds.
Oh, there you go. Awesome.
Okay.
You got links.
Yeah, there's the links to today.
All right, so we're on jobtitle.io. Is that the one?
Title.io, yeah.
All right.
So, like LinkedIn gives us this data when somebody changes jobs, but like, I would love to see like a summary of like each month, like who changed jobs in my network.
Well, I think more important would be to have a target like title that you're looking for and watch somebody, change into that title.
Yeah.
I think that would be really interesting. Like I'm
like
looking for director or above, and recruiting, talent acquisition, whatever. And when people move into the titles that meet my criteria, I get notified. That would be really interesting.
And you can see over time too, like which job titles they move to, and vice versa.
And I think what you have shown here is in itself absolutely excellent, because I regularly get on LinkedIn, these 12 people have changed jobs. I look at it and go, all right, 4 of those I need to follow up with in 1 month once they're 30 days into the job rather than today. And then what I do is, if I'm feeling, inclined, I'll take that information, put it into my calendar for a month in the future. But of course, I do it like 1 in every 100 times. If I could do it systematically using a tool like that, that'd be excellent. $25 a month, fine, I'm in.
Yep.
I'm going to buy it.
Take my money.
Interesting stat there on the homepage. It says around 5% of your contacts change jobs every month.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay, I'm buying that.
Yeah, I think a lot more people are changing jobs right now.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So that's jobtitle.io if you're listening to this later on. Starts at $25 a month. Let's talk acquisitions, guys. So I did the last meetup, I think, early July. So it's been about 2 months now. In that time, handful of acquisitions, kind of the big ones. Indeed buys ZapInfo, Circa buys America's Job Exchange, and Modern Hire acquires Sonru. So any thoughts on any of these from the peanut gallery here?
I mean, the ZapInfo one, obviously it's a great move for Indeed, but I feel bad for the ZapInfo community. I mean, Indeed just bought ZapInfo for most of the community is not going to use it anymore. It's more of just for people who already are in the Indeed already heavily using Indeed, but they didn't buy it for their existing community.
No,
So
they're basically shutting it down. I mean,
it's completely shutting it down. It's like literally buying it to get rid of it.
Which is basically what Indeed's, I mean, that's
their MO.
Indeed has been doing. I mean, that's their MO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've never used ZapInfo. It's not a tool that I've really had to use. Is it mostly, what is it? A CR? It's a
data scraper essentially. So actually, one of the ways I used it was to, you can actually crawl like a Facebook group, download all the profiles off of there.
Okay.
You actually match up their profiles with like their LinkedIn URL.
That's
really good.
It's actually awesome. I mean, you can export everything.
Yeah,
you can get contact info. It's great. Yeah.
But
it's a pretty cool tool.
They're going to shut it down. They've done the same with ClickIQ. They've done the same with a whole bunch of things. They take the technology, make it a small feature of Indeed, and that's it. Sayonara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to come more.
But you know what? Congrats to the ZapInfo guys, because I know they were dying to, for this. So that's great.
Yeah.
They deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a strange move too. But Indeed doesn't buy small companies. This was, ZapInfo was, I don't know, 10 people, 15 people, something like that.
But they made a lot of noise in the space, and they got a lot of traction really quickly.
They had a lot of users. They had like 50,000 users.
Yeah, exactly.
ClickIQ was only 15 people, less than $1 million revenue.
Is it?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. What else? So Circa bought America's Job Exchange, which is the old job board that they're going to change the name actually.
I think it's about time somebody got America's Job Exchange.
I wonder how much traffic that site has, because all the state unemployment offices feed into it, promote it.
I think that's the only thing that really keeps that whole business alive is that
OFCCP. Yep.
OFCCP. Yeah. I mean, that's all that business really is. That's my understanding. I have no idea what their traffic was, AJE at the time they were acquired, but I mean, it makes sense, just to eliminate a competitor, I would think. I mean, that's
their competitor. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I had the CEO of Circa on my pod, and he said they bought it to basically capture a competitor at that point.
Yeah.
For the OCCP stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what do you think about the name change from, what was it, Local
Job Network? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, they want to be known as, something other than a bunch of job boards, which is how they got their start. And even their job board business, they only have, only a handful of sites get really a lot of traffic, from what I understand. So it was something that was coming down the pike overall. And the OCCP product is what they sell essentially. That job postings into diversity sites and those local job boards. So I think it made sense from a long-term standpoint.
It's, this is just jumping ahead, but, looking at one of these other headlines, the modern hire acquires another video interviewer platform. Does anyone have any data around, video interviewing taking off right now during COVID? Is that like a huge thing right now? Is that becoming bigger, or are they just Zoom? Everyone just using Zoom?
I think it's a lot of Zoom. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard of any stats around it, but you would assume that the video interview companies are doing a little bit better.
That's what I think, but I haven't heard a word.
Well, I know the virtual job fair platforms are doing well. People like
Yeah.
Reason and things like that.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like it's one of those things where like the bigger it is, the smaller it is? Meaning, if everyone's doing it, it just becomes like, oh, you're making a phone call, you're doing a phone interview. Like, why do you need a video platform or whatever, right? I mean, it's like
That's always been the argument against using a HireVue or Modern Hire. You can just use Skype or Zoom,
Right, or Zoom now, right? Because everyone uses Zoom. You saw the stock price.
Yeah.
That's basically my comment as well. I mean, at this point, prior to COVID, I guess, prior to Zoom, and of course, there's always been Skype. The interview platform, what is the real reason to have an interview platform if you can just jump on any sort of video technology and just do it that way? Like, why would you want to pay? What are you getting? Like, what tools are you getting?
Marketing.
I think one of the things you get is the asynchronous video, right? So you can actually record the video on your own time.
Okay.
And the candidate can do it on their own time. So that's useful if they're a busy person or, if they can't do it live.
You can do that with Loom.
Also the interviews, then go right into your ATS a lot of times. So you have a recording of the interview that you can then market the candidate to some clients.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a good benefit. Okay.
Yeah, and if you look at the ATS, for example, you say, well, what do I need an ATS where I can keep a log of my candidates in a spreadsheet, right? Same kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I could do a video call, but if it's good, it's going to nurture the hiring manager with interview questions, and it's going to capture those results. It's going to archive some of the data you need that you might not get otherwise in a live interview. So, if it's done right, it could be a huge value add and keep people perhaps from going out of boundaries, right? In terms of what questions should you be asking or not asking. Those kind of things.
We use AI to evaluate all the movements in your face to determine if you're lying or not.
Yeah, well, that was always super creepy that HireVue did that, right? And the EU basically said you can't do that stuff. But we used HireVue really as on the asynchronous side, mainly for campus hiring. If we used it as a platform, I think the add-ons were the live video interviewing. Like, that wasn't there. They weren't built for that purpose. They were built for, I got to do 1,000 campus interviews. I have no way of physically doing that. Here are a bunch of questions. I can brand those questions. I can get the responses, and I can, review them on my phone when I'm sitting on the train. And that was really the benefit that they had. Maybe there's more to it now, but yeah, now we have, this, right? Zoom and Skype and all those other things, but that's not how they were built.
Yeah, five years ago, my last corporate TA job, I used it in iSIMS. They had a video thing, used it as a cover letter. So we asked the candidates to do a cover letter as part of the initial application as a kind of a screening tool. And it went into the ATS at that point. Didn't really work that well. We only got about 28% adoption, if I remember. So we kind of canned it after that, but yeah, it was helpful. If they actually did it, it was helpful.
Adoption is much higher now, right? Yeah. So I don't know how many years ago this was, but I think 3 or 4 years ago, yeah, when I first implemented HireVue, I think we had like 60% adoption. In the second year we saw 80. It had nothing to do with the Broadridge brand, right? It had to do with the fact that every financial services firm was doing it. And so when the kids got the link, they're like, oh, this is what I do. Right? It's just like Pavlov's dog. It's like, oh, I get a link. I do a video interview because Goldman and JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley told me I need to do it. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
There's a video product in Israel called video interview product called Interview. and they claim they can assess the depths of the human soul.
Please, I want them to do it to me.
Is that their
I'll
tagline
break it.
I'm doubting straight out of Mossad, so they probably can.
Yeah, I mean they'll kind of cancel their entire company if they did it to me.
What's it called?
Inter with a VYO on the end.
Wow.
VYO.
Yeah. Presumably Modern Hire are just buying market share, because I can't see any other reason why they would buy on Sonry.
Yeah. Had you heard of Sonry?
Yeah, they already had their own. They already had their own video solution, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're just buying market share.
Yeah.
How are Modern Hire funded? Because they don't appear to have raised any money, according to Crunchbase.
Well, they've been around for a while. They merged with Montage, I don't know, a couple years ago. But they've been around for a number of years.
They
haven't had to raise.
With a new CEO as well. And I think I just heard their old CEO is now going to head up events for HR.com. So it's
really
pretty, Kurt, I forget Kurt's last name, but interesting moves.
Hey, Chris, I wanted to just really quickly jump back to Circa for a second and just get your take on, we were talking about them and sort of the local job board network, and you and I, got started just a few years ago in this, and we were building a bunch of local job sites and all these niche sites. And do you think that plays any longer, or that's pretty much a dead sort of model?
Yeah, it's pretty much dead. I mean, there are some existing players today like Jobs in the US and Local Job Network. Those are the two biggest, who've got some traction in certain states, right? There's a bunch of other local stuff out there. I just had Max List, Mac Pritchard, who runs maxlist.org. Yep. It's a local job site for the Pacific Northwest. And that's a nice little thriving business. There's like 3 or 4 people there. He's definitely been hit by the COVID wave, of course, but he's carved out a nice little business for himself there. But there's definitely small businesses.
Yeah.
They're not big overall massive businesses anymore. Those days are over.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
What about some of the niche boards? I know we used to use like some for nurses and things of that nature. Do you think that those niche boards will continue?
Yeah, I think niche communities will always pop up. I mean, you've seen stuff like, you got like the Mom Project, right? That's a niche job board for moms. They got they just got funding, I don't know, probably $10-15 million.
What's it called?
The Mom Project. Yep. So you're seeing a lot of new, what I call job boards 2.0 or next generation job boards, where they're basically community sites, right? They focus on a community, and they have a broader set of functionality and features beyond just job postings that they can use to go to market with. I think in the case of the Mom Project, you actually pay the Mom Project as the employer, and then they pay the mom who works for you, and they handle all the payments in that case. You've got stuff like Upwork and the whole gigification. I just saw a job board or a new gig website for science talent, like freelance scientists pop up, right? So you are seeing these niche sites out there.
What's the scientist one?
Oh God, don't ask me offhand. I don't remember.
If you could find it, you could send it to me. If they have any traction, I would love to talk to them.
Got a link somewhere to it.
I'm actually looking for scientists at scale. So
Google like scientist freelance jobs or something like that. Maybe you'll find it. But I've got a client, he started a job board, a niche job board last year. He made $60K his first year in a certain niche. Only had a couple competitors. And that was kind of a straight, typical, job board software using Smart Job Boards platform. So there's still things like that popping up. I got an email today from somebody on LinkedIn. She just heard her. She's an economic development person for like some town or city. She launched a job board for economic development people. Niche job board, right? So that could be a side business, could be a full-time business. Who knows?
I will never launch a job board ever again.
That's what's happening out there as far as job boards go.
I don't care how cool it gets.
I'm also getting a lot of staffing from clients launching their own job boards too, Todd.
Sure.
So Robert's kind of into that business. I just helped a staffing firm launch their own nurse job board as a kind of a supplement to their business. They're not looking to make a lot of money with it, using it to do lead gen and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Overall.
Send me those, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, send some introductions. Yeah, no, I've noticed a few of those too. I mean, there's a couple that I've been coming across and getting even some inquiries. One that I spoke to recently, there's a local, well, I guess they're more of a regional staffing firm here in sort of on the West Coast called Roth Staffing. And they just launched a job site called zing.com, Z-I-N-G. They actually bought that domain about 20 years ago. It's a good one. Yeah. Zing.com.
Wow.
Yeah. Staffing firm doing something in the job board space.
Nice. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And the XING is the LinkedIn equivalent in Germany.
Exactly. Xing.
Which is actually, no surprise, losing ground to LinkedIn, and
yeah,
who knows how long they'll survive. But
is it? I don't think that's the case, Ward. I think it's still by far the number one job board in professional network in Germany and Austria. I don't think LinkedIn's getting like no traction in the Mittelstand at all, which is most of German business. So I'm not sure that's correct.
Yeah, I know the job boards in Germany are getting outrageous amounts. I mean, $900 pre-COVID. I don't know what happened after that, but
yeah, I met a guy from Germany, a German job board. I don't know, it was 2 years ago, and they charge like $1,000 per job posting.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The reason direct sourcing, or active sourcing as they call it, is not a thing still in Germany. It's just it's not. We've got a phrase in the UK which is "that's not cricket," which means you don't do it. It's not gentlemanly to go and I'm conscious that's loads of masculine terms, but anyway, it's just not. You don't go and poach from people, and so recruitment agencies sit and wait for the phone to ring with candidates, and job boards can charge what they like because it's still the primary channel.
Yeah, it's
so if you decide to be the company that was
in Germany.
Yeah, if you decided to be the company that just said screw being gentlemanly and you went after them, would you win over there? If everyone's not doing it, because it's not like it's not what you do, and you decided, you know what, screw the status quo, I'm going to go in and I'm going to poach.
It's a culture that is they are the force behind GDPR, and
I see.
They are the most conservative, kind of culture in Europe, and they're very, very big on like privacy, and so that could be considered an invasion of privacy.
Got it.
And so it's not cricket.
Yeah, opening up the door to problems.
Last thing in acquisitions, I have a prediction that I think Indeed's going to buy Seek one day in Australia.
So?
Really?
That would be a massive.
That's a big...
Look, they've already bought Workopolis in Canada. They bought Simply Hired here in the US. They want market share. Seek has that in Australia. That's the last kind of big continent they can go after. And somebody was telling me Seek has increased their prices, and now Indeed is undercutting them there in that market.
Yeah.
Seek is also very, very protective and of its position. They've by raising their prices, they've raised their prices considerably for staffing agencies.
Oh, for staffing?
Not for employers, only for staffing agencies. We have an integration with over 200 job boards, bringing candidates into our platform. Seek is like, nah, we're not interested. We're not talking to you. They don't collaborate at all.
Interesting.
Yeah,
from a pure ROI and value standpoint, I mean, a marriage like that makes sense to me, but we'll see.
Yeah, one of our partners is Career One, and literally, I'm actually been emailing with him right now on something new. But Career One down in Australia we've been working with them for years, and Chris, to your comment, I mean, Seek basically is a monopoly, as we all I think know, and they raise their prices. So Career One is actually picking up some interesting business, and we have a decent business with them. But I've been trying for years to do something with Seek. Those guys are not easy.
Interesting.
I think LinkedIn benefits from Seek pissing off their audience. I've seen a lot of posts from people on LinkedIn saying, Seek have done it now. I'll never go back to Seek. I'll never advertise there again. LinkedIn, you've got me now.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. We got, let's see here. So layoffs, let's talk about layoffs. LinkedIn got hit last month. So did people like Hiring Solved, small startup out of Arizona. So if I read the, let me read the LinkedIn. This is from the Washington Post. Job posting saw a boost in May and June, but plateaued in late June and early July. Because of where it's positioned, LinkedIn is on the front lines of where you would see the pressure of that being reflected. Active job postings grew slightly in May and June, according to Gartner, but remained 24% below where they were in early February. And LinkedIn laid off 6%, of its workforce. I mean, pretty much every HR tech vendor I know has been hit, with a few exceptions. I saw that SmartRecruiters and Beamery both put out some press releases touting that they made more, they made a lot of clients during the pandemic. So I'm curious what the group thinks about both the layoffs and companies like SmartRecruiters saying they're gaining steam during all this.
It helps when you get $30 million investment from Salesforce.com to stave off your layoffs.
Who's that?
SmartRecruiters.
Oh. When did they get funding?
Did they?
I think it was the end of last year, or maybe early this year.
Oh, it must have been late last year then, yeah.
Was it not like 100 million that they got in funding?
Yeah.
I think you're closer to 100. I think it was like $90 million. I was talking to some of their, I was a SmartRecruiters customer, and I think that was the number they were talking about.
I mean, when you say Beamery and SmartRecruiters have both had great quarters, I definitely believe SmartRecruiters. They're winning customers for sure. I can see it.
Yep. Yeah, I remember when the pandemic first started, Jerome was saying on Facebook that, like within the first couple of weeks, like their phone was ringing off the hook from people just wanting to do demos and stuff like that. Change their ATS and overall.
Is that because the bigger staffing firms were trying to cut expenses, or why do you think that is?
It's an employer product. It's not for staffing firms.
Employers were looking to basically, since they had downtime, we're about to have downtime, they're looking at their technology stacks and saying, hey, now we actually have time to actually put a new ATS in, because it is a major pain point in changing that.
The thing is, they don't describe themselves in ATS, and they probably shouldn't now. If you've got SmartRecruiters, you don't need Beamery. You don't need people. You don't need anything. You don't need any other kind of CRM. It's absolutely as good as any of those are.
Yeah, I think Beamery is helped by being a Workday invested in them, so they're pretty tight integration there. So I'm sure they got plenty of leads to work off.
I think they put debt into them. I'm not actually sure they invested. I think it was a debt.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I forget. So, it was something like that. But
yeah, I think SmartRecruiter's only real competition at this point is Workday, and I'm not suggesting that Workday is a good platform. I'm just suggesting that if HR is making the buying decision, that's the only risk to SmartRecruiters at this point.
That's what they say. Their biggest competitor is no decision, and no decision means the team just goes with whoever finance has told them they go with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's as a user, their marketplace and the approach that they've taken, it's just so easy to use and so easy to integrate, and they're building things native now. They just launched the first native text platform embedded in the platform. I mean, it's just going to keep going and going and going. The CRM is embedded. They've embedded AI. I don't know how great that is, or machine learning, or resume stacking, or whatever you want to call it. It's not really AI, right? But yeah, it's going to be a force.
Yep. So moving on, the most interesting story to me in the last couple of months was this one about Google. Now I wrote, it must have been last year, that I thought Google would get into the people search business at some point. This is all when they had Google for Hire and Google Jobs up there. So they're launching something in India only called People Cards. And this lets users create their own profile, including their job, links to their social media platforms, a brief bio, and more that will appear directly in Google search results. They're called People Cards, and again, only being tested in India at this point, but I could see these coming, to a country near you in the next few years. So do you guys see the story, and what do you think?
Yeah, that's interesting, right? I mean, why not? If you're looking, look, if you're looking up a person, you've had a dinner, you met somebody, everybody, all of us probably jump over to LinkedIn, look them up, who are they, connect with them. I wonder if
this is the shot at LinkedIn, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much right. I mean, that's going to be a shot directly over the bow of LinkedIn, and you're building a card, you're building a profile. I mean, you literally can connect everybody that way.
Yep.
Is there a connection? Is there a connection mechanism though, or is it just,
I do see. I'm looking at. If you look at the link over on The Verge, there are some icons there for like a phone number. Of course, all your social media profiles, so you connect to those
right.
platforms first, I guess. But there is a phone number and an email icon on there, so I suppose you could have your email address and phone number in the card. It looks like.
One thing we know from Google is this product either becomes massive or it's disappeared in 12 months.
Right. Exactly.
If it doesn't get immediate massive traction, they shut it.
There's no in between.
Well, which is why I think they're trying it in India, and there's obviously a large population there. They can learn some things from pretty quickly. Will that translate to the US or to Europe or the UK? Who knows, right? Behaviors are different. There's a lot of things that are different. But I mean, we go to Google for everything to search.
I always thought they should have like a people tab as one of the tabs up there, like news, images, people. That's how I first envisioned them doing it. But yes, these cards are pretty interesting, and I think they're going to, you're right, Adam, it's either going to be huge or it's going to fail miserably as Google Plus did. So.
Yeah, well, Google Plus, that's the other one I was thinking. Yeah.
And run a business, it's the only fun outcomes anyway.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to reviewing the venture capital news of the last few months. I saw about 14 announcements. So I'll start out with the most recent first. So that would be turing.com. They just got $14 million in seed funding for their software engineering hiring platform. They're out in Palo Alto. Hey, Todd, do you know anything about these guys? Todd Raphael?
What was the name again, Chris?
Turing.com, Turing. I'd never heard of them. I found this press release last week.
I do not.
Let's see here. An automated platform lets companies cut the time it takes to hire software engineers from months to days. Sounds like a hire.com, maybe a competitor. 14 million seed round founding led by a foundation capital. Let's see here. Turing taps into a global pool of developers to help companies hire in markets such as SF, New York, where it's difficult and expensive to hire and retain top software engineers.
Chris, are you looking at a list that you've posted for us, or are you?
Yeah, click on the HRtech feed for venture capital, and you'll see all the headlines there.
Great.
In the chat. And Turing says they have currently 160,000 developers from 140 countries signed up on the platform. That's pretty big. Using a combination of data science and AI as part of sourcing, vetting, and management tools, you can scale your engineering teams rapidly, it says. So, I don't know. I mean, it's another tool for software engineers. There's a million of them out there. We'll have to see how good they are at marketing themselves. To me, it's what all this stuff comes down to: is how well can you market to HR and get their attention, right?
The investor is the guy listed there. Ashu Garg is the investor in my company, also Eightfold.
Is he?
But I never heard of
Eightfold.
I never heard of Turing otherwise.
Yeah, it was kind of a surprise to me when I saw it.
It's the first HR technology company I've heard using Turing as a name.
Yeah.
As a play on words. Yeah.
By the way, before I forget, did you guys see the HR Florida conference that's actually happening in person?
Yeah, I did.
Facebook.
That was interesting.
I
can't believe like a conference is happening, especially in HR.
In-person conferences in HR.
Well, I mean, in HR of all things.
Wasn't the health and safety conference, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like half the booths were empty, so why did they even have it?
Well, I mean, but the floor was full, like, or at least the super social distance seats.
Looked like they were full. All the seats were spread around.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of funny.
It was something.
Yeah.
I mean, good on them, I guess, or whatever.
All right, let's see. So ChartHop got $14 million for its people data analytics platform. These guys are out in New York. It's people analytics dashboard. Don't ask me what they do, but that was just happening from last week. Interview Mocha out of India. Sarai, I don't know if you guys know about these guys, but iMocha, they're now called. They rebranded to. They're a digital skills assessment tool. Do you know them at all, Sharad?
Yes. We are also, like, I saw some of the links and connection, and we are trying to connect with them. So that's how, like, it's on the pipeline. Yeah.
Probably one of the bigger venture capital stories was HRcom. They got 13 million in a Series B back in on August 13th. Launched in 2015. I think they've raised probably more than that, maybe another 5 or 10. They say they have over 100,000 recruiters using the tool. They're a sourcing tool, if you haven't heard of them before. So I know Intran, they used to be one of my podcast sponsors. And I thought that was pretty good news for them from a sourcing tool standpoint overall. Any thoughts around HRcom?
Their investment came from a Chinese investment company, right? So
I believe so, yeah.
So we can fully expect that they're going to be offering the most, let's call it, state-of-the-art ways of scraping the internet.
We'll see. Ocean Pine Capital. That's where it came from. Never heard of them, but HRcom is there. Let's see here. Springboard, a mentor-guided online learning platform that prepares people for in-demand careers, got 31 million, actually. That's a shitload of money. For student employability. So let me see if I can find the description of this thing. Started by Springboard pioneered a learning model that enabled thousands of successful career transitions into the most in-demand fields via its job guaranteed programs that are taught entirely online. Unlike most online learning companies that stop at teaching technical skills, Springboard focuses on employability. It says 94% of eligible grads secure a job within a year, earning an average of salary of $26,000. I'm assuming these are low skill jobs overall. Doesn't quite say what types of jobs they prepare you for. Interesting. I mean, I think it's a good play as far as product goes, online learning, and if you can tie it into getting hired as well, it's a win-win overall. So,
it'll be the same pipeline today.
Yeah. Payroll provider CloudPay got 35 million. Boring. Gem.com. So this was July 23rd. $37 million Series B. Now they started out as basically a CRM.
Which one was that?
Gem.com. They bought Gem.com, the domain as well. I'm sure for a pretty penny. $37 million Series B, led by Greylock, with lots of other. And they've got $48 million in total funding.
Are they based in the UK, I think?
They're based in San Francisco.
Oh.
Fairly new on the market. I think just in the last year or two, they've come around.
They were called something else before.
Yeah, I forget what they were called. I forget. But yeah, great move by that domain name. I mean, that instantly kind of catapults you into, premier vendor, if you will, of the domain like that. They've got some CRM tool. They've got some diversity analytics stuff now, it looks like.
Zen Sourcer,
yeah. They've got a Chrome extension. They integrate with LinkedIn, email, ATSs. They have outreach stats. So it's kind of it's a layer on top of an ATS, basically. Their CRM, they have diversity analytics. That's their latest feature, helping you build diverse teams. Says they have about 300 customers across the spectrum.
It's a sourcing platform that's become, it's a sourcing tool that's become a CRM.
Yeah, it says an all-in-one recruiting platform that integrates with LinkedIn, email, and your ATS. We find and engage and nurture top talent. So they're kind of in your space, Adam, a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I did a demo with them, and maybe I had a bad sales rep, but I really found it very hard to understand what they were trying to do. And exactly.
Well, when you start as a CRM, and then you add things
workflow.
like, diversity stuff.
It just kind of it felt like a kitchen sink of stuff.
Yeah, it does seem like a little bit like that.
And it didn't feel like it was tied together elegantly.
No, it is. It's a sourcing tool that has become a CRM. Mm-hmm. This is the problem with our recruitment stack today, or the recruitment options today. Is it's like Game of Thrones, and there's just too many different kind of options that are doing something similar but calling themselves something different.
Yeah, I don't. It's hard to even describe what they are in a couple of words. I mean, it's they seem to be doing a bunch of stuff overall. But yeah, it's a crowded market. I mean, good domain name. We'll have to see again if they can make traction here.
Stephen, did you happen to see how they actually integrated with LinkedIn? That could be a feat all by itself.
Yeah, I asked him about it. Honestly, I just didn't fully understand what she was trying to say to me. I've been doing this a really long time.
They have some kind of
I'm looking around the room, around the video, and I might be the oldest one on the call. I've been doing this a very long time, and I just didn't get what they were talking about. Here's what it says. It says this Chrome extension allows recruiters to source, get visibility into the history of a prospect, interactions with team members, personalized messages, and schedule automated follow-ups, all without ever leaving a LinkedIn profile.
It's Rapportive that's probably not going to get shut down by LinkedIn. They've legitimized Rapportive or Connectifier, is what they've done. If anybody knows what I mean, so there's the sourcing things.
Rapportive still working? I thought they shut that down.
Yeah, they got shut down. Connectifier got bought and then shut down. So it's Lucia. It's Lucia. But they've built Lucia into a CRM effectively. That's what they've done.
And they also added Lucia with Hola Connect. Both are being added, like a data miner or recipe creator. Same example.
Yeah. Hello Talent, I think, is similar, is it not?
Yeah.
That was a sourcing tool that's become a CRM.
Yes. And even Loxo source is also becoming the same way.
Loxo is, Loxo's done absolutely. That's exactly the same thing. Yeah. Become a CRM.
Michelle, you have something to say?
Sorry?
Michelle, do you have something to add? I can't hear you there.
Just saying, I've changed my voice.
All right, moving
Michelle's
on.
having a party.
So,
she's not in the call.
Having her own party.
AI-driven talent solutions company Nakri out of Toronto got $2.15 million. Another AI video-based soft skill assessment tool. How many of these we're going to have to see on the market? Sounds like what Interview Mocha is doing as well. People Directory Sift got 3 million. They're out of Detroit. What do they do? They make, I think they're like an org chart company and kind of like people analytics. I'm going to mute Michelle here. There we go.
We should go through all the companies. How much revenue have they earned this year? That's far more interesting than how much money they raised. Most of these companies are going to raise all this money, and it's not going to matter. They're just going to go belly up, or
you're looking at what? If you count this up here, in the last, just in the August alone, we're looking at 14. That's 28.
It's a ton of money out there right now.
Probably like $100 million. I don't know.
I'm just so beyond the point of like celebrating companies for raising money. It used to be really cool, but it's not so cool anymore. Like, congratulations, you're in debt, and it's not as exciting as congratulations, you have 20,000 new customers, and you did 17 million in revenue, up 400% from last year, or whatever it is. That's far more interesting.
This is interesting because this is a USA perspective that you're talking about. Money is much easier to come by for investment in the USA compared to anywhere else. So when you've raised money outside of the USA, it genuinely is something that is a likely predictor that you are going to become a successful company. In the USA, it is a sure sign that somebody's made a big bet.
Yeah, exactly.
The 1 in 1,000 is going to turn into something. In the UK, they would be expecting it's 1 in 10 investments will turn into something quite big. Is what they'd be expecting. In the USA, it might be not 1 in 1,000. It might be. It's a lot more than 1 in 10, though.
I absolutely agree with you, Adam. And I'm actually just super beyond being excited for people for raising. Like, good job.
Which is precisely why I'm going to do my next investment round in the USA.
Well, absolutely. It's actually ridiculously easy to get money here. And if you can actually show revenue, it's like even easier. I mean, if you have just an idea, you can obviously raise money, and a product, you can raise money. But
generally speaking, you pretty much got to show revenue to get something. To get millions of dollars. I mean,
I
think very few startups are coming in. You're getting funded on just ideas alone.
Oh, not ideas. You need a product. You have to have a product, and you have to have, you have to have demo, or you have to have free trials all set up with big companies, and it's pretty.
Keep seeing ads for this app, sports betting app, FanDuel on TV. We should have like a RecTech dual app where you can just basically go and add money to all these different startups.
Add it to your portfolio, Chris. Go build it. I'll sign up. Yeah. I'll invest.
Here's another big funding round for Jobcase out of Boston, $30 million. Now, I don't get all the money that Jobcase got. I mean, they basically run a job board company. It's basically a social network for blue collar people, but they basically use job boards and they advertise jobs online to fuel their business. And they've gotten over $100 million, which to me is ridiculous. Well, and that puts them at like $1 billion valuation.
Billion, yeah.
I'll put them here though. We work with most of the job space, driving non-jobs revenue to job boards and other players, and they are by far the best quality of anyone in the entire space that we work with. Like the quality of like the engagement from the candidates on their sites and who sign up to things is like in some cases a multiplier better than anybody else. So
I mean, I don't
they're doing something right.
I just question why they need $100 million to make it all work. Seems like a lot of money.
I don't think they need it. I just
yeah.
Pretty crazy. Very good at raising money. I mean, I don't know. I work with them as well, and obviously, Garrett. I think we all know Garrett.
Yeah.
I mean, Fred comes from that world, right? I mean, he's sort of the VC PE guy, right? Yeah. So, I mean, continue to raise money for sport. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've been to a whole bunch of VC events where, founders who have raised hundreds of millions will literally just tell you, like, raise as much as you can when you can.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all. But, they say get money when you can. If you're able to raise more, raise it.
Yeah.
Can I ask, quite a few of these deals that you're talking about, Chris, you've started off the description with AI sourcing tool or AI full service recruitment platform or whatever. are we at the point where we still think that adding the word AI into the description of the company is unique, or is a USP or something like that?
Well, you know,
I mean, I don't know. Is it or is it something that people should look at and go, probably not?
It's just a buzzword.
It's like blockchain. I'm so happy I don't see blockchain everywhere anymore. I mean, it used to be on every single description everywhere. We use AI and blockchain to solve a problem.
I got hit up by 10 different blockchain job board startups like 2 years ago. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now now you don't hear a peep out of them.
I think it's still just a big buzzword, Adam.
I mean, Todd, Raphael, your company, does it still? It certainly used to be. Like we are very much an AI powered, business, and I'm sure, no doubts it is. But I mean, is it considered that that's like still something that people like?
No, I totally agree with you. Our business happens to be an AI company founded by a couple people from Google and Facebook who built AI there for YouTube and Facebook recommendations. But we're not using AI because it's to jump on the AI thing. It just happens to be that's what we do. But I don't think that I think AI could be even a negative in some situations. So because it's become so buzzworthy. So I really agree with you.
Well, I think the problem is that too many companies that have nothing close to an AI, it'd be a stretch to call it machine learning. That use AI as their buzzword. So, it's used in most decks and everything. So
there's a company
I think that's a problem.
Company in London called Eva AI. And I was basically the AI in Eva AI stands for augmented intelligence. So it says AI, but then they go, we don't mean an artificial intelligence, of course. It means augmented intelligence. I think, you're kind of trying to double bluff us there, aren't
you? Good on them.
Well, guys, that's all I got for today. You guys, any other topics you want to discuss, or should we call it a day?